the record for a reason. 5-1 against Lamar. Now Lamar got to bounce back next week and show everybody, why the Ravens are the Ravens, or maybe more so Likely, because Likely had a lot to say in that post game. Meanwhile, we felt like there was a lot of tiptoes by the end zone. Encouraged or discouraged with the Ravens after their loss, Dave?
I'm encouraged. I'm not discouraged by that loss. Because you see that there's a lot of mistakes that could easily be made up. The offensive line just needs more continuity so they can get back to where they need to be, and Lamar just needs more help from everyone else. And they need to run the ball with Derrick Henry. Run the ball with Derrick Henry. You signed him for a reason. I get it. He's only making $8 million a year, but it's Derrick Henry at the end of the day. Run him. You don't. You gave Lamar another weapon, whether you want to say as a wide receiver weapon or a running back. You gave him another weapon. Use him. Use Derrick Henry for what he is. They call him King Henry for a reason. We know what he's done in his league. Last year might have been a down year for him, but we know that Derrick Henry, when healthy, is one of the best running backs in the league. Top five. That's without question. Like, run with Derrick Henry, man. Like, and figure a way to go get another receiver or something. If you think that's the issue with the Ravens, go get another receiver. There are other receivers out here that are crying to go to other teams. Go find someone else or draft somebody when you have the chance to. I mean, I understand you can't do that now because the draft is over, but I'm not discouraged by it. This is one game. It's the first game of the week. It was opening night, and they lost by a tiptoe touchdown. A tiptoe that did not happen. It was basically KD happened in the NFL. That's basically what happened. So I mean, I'm not. It's not a playoff game. It's not like they out for the rest of the year. They still got 16 more games to play. I'm not worried about that. That's just one game. All these other channels talking about, the Chiefs are now the Ravens' daddy and stuff like that. Like they gotta relax with all that stuff, man. It's just game one. It's just the first game of the year. They may more than likely these teams may or may not see each other in the playoffs again. So unless some injuries happen, we're going to see both of these teams in the playoffs, and who knows what happens if they see each other again. But I'm not discouraged about what happened in that game because they lost by a touchdown and they had a lot of mistakes. So just imagine if they don't have those mistakes, they probably win that game.
For me, I'm encouraged by the motivation from this game and what the players had to say after the loss. Like a lot of people could have held their heads low. A lot of people could have blamed the refs. I mean, some people, of course, it's blatant when some of the calls aren't going your way as a player. You want to say something about the refs. The discouragement for me comes from the coaching staff. Hopefully, they are encouraged by us being discouraged by how they called this game, and then they go out and make better plays. But again, you've seen things. One thing I want to note is the preseason. I know a lot of us look at the
Mm.
preseason and say, all right, look, the preseason is more so for players to get on the team, and we don't want to play our starters because they might get hurt. But this game right here shows why some of these starters need to play in the preseason. Because Mahomes and them played almost a full quarter or maybe a series in the preseason. That builds the continuity. That right there is why they was able to come out and have less mistakes. Of course, they had drops, but they had less mistakes. You can clearly see with the Ravens, that right there was them not being on the field in live action in a game against opponents where things are different. Walkthroughs and everything like that, you already know what we're gonna do. So it's like you're not really disguising too much. When you're going against somebody else, you want to be better. So that's where the discouragement comes from as far as just how players treat the preseason and how coaches are coaching the game. My encouragement is Likely. I mean, he ain't on my fantasy team in our league, but he is on the other one. So I'm encouraged by that. I'm encouraged by Lamar Jackson saying, look, I can drop back almost 50 times and still show y'all that this is the second time where we played this team and it was because of us that we lost. Like, I want to say they were the better team that day, but there were things that we could have done. The three passes that you said, Joe, the one where he overthrew Likely at the corner of the end zone, that was a touchdown if he just put a little touch on it. The Zay Flowers play, that was a touchdown. Likely catching the ball and literally just dropping down could have been a touchdown. So there's so many things. Roquan Smith getting an interception on the goat. Like there's just so many positives that you can look at within a negative. So I'm encouraged for the Ravens. I ain't a Ravens fan. We got to play them week 3. So this all the love I got for y'all right now. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, if I'm a Ravens fan, I'm definitely encouraged. I'm walking away from that game like, oh no, they don't want to see us again. If I'm a Ravens fan, just look at the situation. Chiefs fresh off a Super Bowl. Remember last year, fresh off a Super Bowl and lost. So you know they thinking about that. We're not gonna let our fans down once again. Chiefs, same coaching staff. Ravens, new defensive coordinator, new offensive line, three new starters on the offensive line, and your offensive line coach just died. Rest, um, uh, praise go to his family, right? Just died less than 2 weeks ago, I believe. I think it was less than 2 weeks ago. He literally just died.
Yeah, I think that was last week actually.
Yeah. So, and then they like in the second quarter they switched on the lineman. They was like, you know what, bro, we gotta put a second round pick in the lineup right now. They had to bring in Andrews to help block Chris Jones. They were like, no, what? We're gonna put Chris Jones in the edge. They was like, no, you're not. We're gonna put what's his name right here. So, and I will be encouraged because Derrick Henry, right? Derrick Henry is a type of running back. He gets better as the game goes. When you look at his yards per carry, first quarter, second quarter is greater than the first quarter. Third quarter is greater than the second quarter, and the fourth quarter is greater than the third quarter. He literally gets better because he's a bell car. He wears you out, man. That's what he does, right? He's a big dude, and he run. Huh?
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm
I
having a
know.
moment.
Dang, Tom. He's like, yo, it's definitely what y'all need to be. I got Zeke. That's what Jerry said.
Carry on, Joe. Just carry
Zeke
on.
did pretty good in New England. Ain't that what Jerry said?
It's about the Ravens, Joe.
But anyways, so feed him, feed the beast, feed that man. I know he's. I know
He's about to say feed Zeke.
feed him. All right. And then look, another reason why I'm encouraged. Lamar came to play yesterday. I was mad at him though, but when he dipped his shoulder, he was like, "Yeah, I'm here. What's up?" It was third down. Series over. He ran about. He said, "You know what? Boom!" I was like, "Oh, Lamar came." He started yapping. He started talking. I'm like, "Okay, Lamar came to play." He going to press. One thing I like about Lamar Jackson, every time he in the press conference, he got his pass on. Every single time, he got his pass on still. And then they asked him, "That's your kryptonite?" No, that ain't my kryptonite. I was like, "Okay." Lamar got a different attitude about the Chiefs now, so I'm definitely encouraged about that. I'm like, who else I'm encouraged about? I said, likely balled out. Now we know about Likely. We've been talking about him in the chat all last year and stuff like that. But this was to the world his coming out party. He had a big game against the Chiefs, and we said in the press conference, it's the worst game we're gonna play all year. So good luck in the playoffs. Don't get me wrong, the Chiefs did not play their best game either. They still got to build more continuity. They like Tomo said, they didn't have Hollywood Brown. All right, so that's gonna be scary by so. And Juju just got there. You know, the O line. Now, am I worried about the O line? Not the Ravens, man. Not the Ravens. I remember 2 years ago. Was it 2 years when I first started doing R2L? They played the Raiders first game of the season, and that O line looked horrible. And guess what? Before Lamar Jackson got hurt, there was number one team in the ALC. So I'm not worried about the O line. The Ravens are gonna figure that out. And lastly, the fumble Lamar had, that was on the O line. Y'all saw what Lamar did after that? Come on, y'all. Let's go.
Yeah,
Wake
he
up.
y'all protect.
So,
yeah, gotta be better than that.
and if I'm a Ravens fan, I'm looking like, man, I want to see the Chiefs like I want the Warriors. We all know the result, but I want the Chiefs if I'm the Ravens.
I think last night the Ravens show you that they wanted one of those big threats, right?
They are,
Okay.
but
Okay.
did they win though?
I'm just saying, yeah, you could be a threat and still lose.
Exactly.
Hey, Bengals gonna play them too. You gonna see how they look at the Bengals.
I don't know,
They play them twice every year. We know that's gonna happen.
All right, come on now. No, I'm talking about the Bengals and the Chiefs.
Oh yeah, that's true. I also want to say that for those that are questioning Lamar as being a quarterback, he completed 66% of his passes last night. He threw over 40 passes.
But then
Some of those were inaccurate.
He did throw 3 bad passes though for the game.
He did. He did. Don't get me wrong, but he also made some key plays last night too. That touchdown to Likely was because he saw that the cornerback was not watching the ball. He was just watching Likely, and he dropped it off to Likely, and Likely made a huge play on that touchdown by
What's
making
one
him
better
miss.
though? That Bateman.
Yeah,
Bateman pass.
that was another third down play, wasn't it?
I think so, but that actually got them in the position to try to score.
Yeah, so that was a key.
That was a
He made
shot.
some key plays last night with his arm. Of course, we know Lamar special when it comes to him being able to run the ball, but he made plays with his arm last night too. And look, he threw the ball 40 times and still completed 66% of his passes. So I'm just saying, it's not like he had a terrible passing game, and he didn't throw an interception. So you got
Mahomes
that.
dropped back 28 times. He dropped back 50 times. Come
Crazy.
on.
Mahomes magic.
Oh, I forgot.
Mahomes